In a world that can feel pretty chaotic, you might ask yourself, how can I possibly share any wisdom and keep my own peace at the same time? Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today. We're going to look at chapter 14 of the Ancient Lotus Sutra, and it offers this amazing, really practical framework for doing just that. Everything we're about to cover, it all kicks off with this one single question. A bodhisattva named Manjushri asks the Buddha this directly, and it's so relatable, isn't it? It's not just about what to teach, but how. How do you share something so important without getting totally overwhelmed by the very problems in the world you're trying to help? And the Buddha's answer, well, it isn't some high-level, abstract concept. Nope. It's a clear four-part framework. 4 actual practices that help you build a solid foundation for teaching and just for living, with a sense of peace, no matter what's going on around you. So here's our game plan. We're going to walk through each of these 4 practices one by one. How to act, how to speak, how to think, and how to tap into the right motivation. Then we'll wrap it all up with this incredible story the Buddha tells to show just how precious this teaching really is. Okay, let's jump right into the first practice, which is all about mindful conduct. Think of it like this. It's about creating the right conditions, both inside you and around you, so your mind can stay steady and clear. It's basically about managing your environment, so your environment doesn't end up managing you. The sutra actually splits this into 2 key ideas. First, you've got the sphere of conduct, which is your internal world. Working on patience, gentleness, that kind of wisdom. And then you have the sphere of association, which is your external world, being really conscious of the people and the situations you get involved with. And the sutra gets really specific here. It advises against getting too close with, say, powerful political figures, certain kinds of thinkers, or people involved in violent professions like hunting. Now, the point isn't that these people are bad. It's more that their energy and their day-to-day business can easily stir things up and disturb the inner peace you need to hold and share this teaching. This same kind of thinking applies to specific actions, too. The text warns against behaviors that could spark desire, or lead to messy situations, or just drag you into pointless arguments. The goal is super simple. Keep your intention pure by sidestepping complications that just pull you off the path. So at the end of the day, these guidelines aren't just a list of don'ts. They're practical tools. They're designed to help you nurture a specific inner state. By carefully managing what's happening on the outside, you protect the fertile ground on the inside where patience, gentleness, and true wisdom can actually grow. All right, on to practice number 2, mindful speech. Once your actions are on a stable footing, the focus naturally shifts to what comes out of your mouth. This is all about learning to speak from a place of compassion and wisdom. The instructions here are incredibly direct. Avoid criticizing people or other teachings. Don't be dismissive of other teachers. Don't gossip. It's really a fundamental shift away from all that judgment and a move toward communication that is purely and simply helpful. And here's the other side of that coin, the positive side of mindful speech. When someone asks you a really deep question, the instruction is to answer with the great vehicle. What does that mean? It means you always point them toward the biggest, most complete understanding possible, the one that helps them see their own full potential, not some smaller, limited version. Okay, so we've looked at conduct and speech. Practice number 3 brings us right to the source of it all, the mind. This part is all about actively cultivating a peaceful, compassionate inner world. First things first, you've got to clear out the weeds. The sutra is very clear about letting go of mental states like jealousy, arrogance, or being dishonest, and it specifically warns against discouraging other people on their path, telling them they're too far from the goal or too lazy. That kind of thinking just poisons your own mind and really hurts others. And in place of that negativity, we're encouraged to cultivate this really beautiful mindset. See every single being with compassion. See the Buddhas as kind, loving fathers. See your fellow seekers as great teachers. When you think like this, it creates the sense of a universal family, which makes it possible to teach everyone with the same level of respect. This brings us perfectly to the 4th and final practice, great compassion. This is the ultimate fuel for the fire. It takes that compassion we were just talking about and expands it into a profound vow for absolutely everyone. Now, great compassion here isn't just some warm, fuzzy feeling. The sutra defines it as a deep, active empathy, especially for people who are really struggling, those who've never heard these teachings, or maybe they've heard them but just can't bring themselves to believe them yet. It's a compassion for anyone who feels lost. And this is where the practice becomes a promise. It's a vow. It's basically saying, when I finally reach my own highest potential, I swear I'm going to use every skill I have to guide others so they can find their way too. This incredibly powerful intention is the engine that drives the whole spiritual journey. So why all this fuss? Why are these 4 practices so critical? To get across just how valuable this teaching is, the one they're designed to protect, the Buddha tells a really cool story. Okay, picture this. There's a great king, and his armies just won a huge battle. So he rewards his soldiers with everything: land, gold, fancy titles, the works. But he holds one thing back: his most precious possession, a radiant, priceless jewel hidden in his top knot. He doesn't just give this away. Only when one soldier performs an act of truly extraordinary heroism, only then does he finally give them this ultimate gift. And this story just unlocks the whole meaning. See the parallels? The king, that's the Buddha. The soldiers, well, that's all of us. The treasures he hands out are all the other important but sort of introductory teachings. But that priceless jewel, the ultimate reward, saved for when you're truly ready, that is the Lotus Sutra itself. So this story, this analogy, it positions the Lotus Sutra as the Buddha's most profound, most ultimate teaching. It's even described as the secret treasury of the Buddhas, something that isn't shared carelessly but revealed at exactly the right moment. And this brings us right back to where we started, the 4 practices. They're the training for how to handle this jewel. They are what makes someone capable of both receiving it and sharing it without dropping it, making sure this profound wisdom can be offered with stability, peace, and total fearlessness. I mean, look at the difference. Without these practices, trying to share something deep can just create more conflict and confusion. But with them, you create this bubble of peace and safety. Your mind becomes stable, like a mountain, and that's what truly inspires other people. And this leaves us with a question to ponder. The sutra presents this teaching as a priceless jewel, something to be protected and shared with incredible care. So, what about us? In our own, often difficult modern age, what is the wisdom that we hold most dear? And how can we use these timeless principles of conduct, speech, mind, and compassion to protect and share it well?